I gave my inheritance to help my struggling sister. She spent it on a Paris trip with my husband. At family dinner, I unleashed the truth that shattered them everything. I'm Maya, 35, a data analyst grinding away in a cramped Seattle apartment. My life's not glamorous. Think endless spreadsheets, instant coffee, and a couch that's seen better days. But it's mine, and I've worked hard for it. Last year, everything changed when my dad passed. Lung cancer. It was quick, brutal, and left a hole in my chest I'm still figuring out how to fill. He was the glue in our family, the one who made us laugh over Sunday dinners. Without him, things just unraveled. Dad left me and my younger sister Chloe a decent inheritance, $200,000 split down the middle, $100,000 each. It wasn't quit your job money, but it was enough to breathe easier. For me, it meant paying off my student loans, maybe saving for a better place. Chloe, though? She's 28, a freelance photographer who's always one big gig away from making it. She's got that spark, wild, carefree, the kind of person who lights up a room. But she's also reckless, always has been. And Mom? Victoria, a retired high school teacher, never lets Chloe face the consequences. She's the baby, Mom says, like that explains everything. I should have seen it coming. A month after Dad's funeral, Mom called me over to her house in Tacoma. It's one of those old craftsman homes, all creaky floors and faded curtains. Still smelling like Dad's pipe tobacco, I sat at the kitchen table, clutching a mug of tea, while Mom laid it on thick. Chloe's struggling, Maya. Her photography business isn't taking off. She needs a push. Her voice was soft, but it had that edge, the one that always made me feel like I owed her something. You're doing fine. You've got your job, your husband. Chloe's got nothing. I wanted to laugh. Fine. I'm scraping by, working overtime to cover rent and Ethan's car payments. Ethan, my husband of 7 years, a marketing specialist with a smile that could sell ice to penguins. He's charming, but lately, distant. Late nights at client dinners, phone buzzing at odd hours. I brushed it off. Stress, I told myself. But sitting there, with Mom's eyes boring into me, I felt the weight of it all. My job, my marriage, my family, always pulling, never giving. Mom didn't stop. Your dad would have wanted you to help your sister. It's what family does. She leaned forward, hands folded like she was praying. Give her your share, Maya, just to get her started. You'll be fine. I stared at the table, at the chipped edge where I used to do homework as a kid. My share, $100,000. Years of debt, gone, a chance to start fresh. But Chloe? She'd probably blow it on camera gear or some artsy retreat. Still, I heard Dad's voice in my head. Look out for each other. I was the older sister, the responsible one, the one who never said no. I'll think about it, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. Mom smiled, like she'd already won. You're a good sister. That night, I talked to Ethan. He was sprawled on our couch, scrolling his phone, barely looking up. What do you think? I asked, curling up beside him. It's a lot of money. He shrugged. If it keeps your mom off your back, maybe it's worth it. His tone was off, distracted. I wanted him to care, to ask how I felt, but he just kept scrolling, some sports app lighting up his face. I let it go. Maybe he was just tired. Days turned into weeks, and the pressure didn't stop. Mom called daily, her voice sweeter but heavier each time. Chloe's got a plan, Maya. She's so close to a breakthrough. Chloe herself texted me, selfies with her camera, all smiles, no hint of guilt. You're the best, sis. This'll change everything. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to believe we were still a family. So I did it. I signed the papers at the lawyer's office, a sterile room that smelled like printer ink. $100,000, wired to Chloe's account. My stomach churned as I clicked confirm. No going back. Mom hugged me after, too tight, whispering, you did the right thing. Chloe sent a heart eyes emoji. Ethan didn't say much, just kissed my forehead and went to bed early. I told myself it was fine. I'd keep working, keep saving. But something gnawed at me. The way Mom's eyes lit up for Chloe, never for me. The way Ethan barely noticed my sacrifice. The way I felt smaller, like I'd given away a piece of myself. I pushed it down, buried it under spreadsheets and coffee runs. Family comes first, right? But then, little things started piling up. Ethan's late meetings stretched later. He'd come home smelling like cologne I didn't recognize. Once I found a receipt in his jacket, some fancy restaurant I'd never been to. Work expense, he muttered when I asked. I nodded, but my gut twisted. Chloe, meanwhile, was posting cryptic Instagram stories. Artsy shots of coffee cups, city lights, hashtags like #NewAdventures. I didn't think much of it. Not yet. One night I couldn't sleep. Ethan was out, another client thing. I sat on the couch, laptop open, staring at our joint account. The balance was lower than it should have been. Not by much, but enough to make me pause. I scrolled through transactions. Gas, groceries, then a withdrawal. $500 cash, no note. My heart thudded. I told myself it was nothing, a mistake. But I saved the screenshot just in case. Looking back, that was the moment, the first crack. I didn't know what was coming, but I felt it, like a storm on the horizon. My family, my marriage, my whole life, it was all about to fall apart, and I was just sitting there, wondering why I felt so damn alone. I couldn't shake the feeling. That screenshot of the cash withdrawal sat in my phone like a ticking bomb. $500 gone, no explanation. I kept telling myself it was nothing. Ethan probably needed it for work, right? But the late nights, the cologne, the way he'd angle his phone away when he texted, it was piling up. I wasn't sleeping much. Every creak in the apartment made me jump, like I was waiting for something to break. Then came the Instagram post. I was doom-scrolling one night, glass of cheap wine in hand, when Chloe's story popped up. A blurry shot of the Eiffel Tower captioned, "Living my best life." Hashtag Paris vibes. My chest tightened. Paris? With what money? Her photography gigs barely covered her rent. I clicked through her profile, heart pounding. Another post, her, laughing, wine glass raised, in some fancy restaurant. And there, in the background, half out of frame, was Ethan. My Ethan. His stupid leather jacket, his stupid grin. My wine glass hit the table so hard it chipped. I sat there, frozen, staring at my phone. Paris. Together. My sister and my husband. I wanted to scream, to call them, to demand answers. But I didn't. I just kept scrolling, like if I looked long enough it'd turn out to be a mistake. I found more. Chloe's stories from the past week. Cafes, cobblestone streets, a selfie with a sunset. Ethan was in half of them, subtle but unmistakable. A hand on her shoulder, his reflection in a shop window. My stomach churned. How long had this been going on? I opened our bank app again. My hands shook as I scrolled through the transactions. There it was, thousands of dollars, drained from my inheritance account before I'd signed it over. Hotel charges in Paris, plane tickets, a fancy dinner for two. My money. The room spun. I thought I'd be sick. They'd taken my sacrifice, my future, and spent it on some romantic getaway, together. I tried to calm down. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was a coincidence. Ethan was in marketing. Maybe he had a work trip, and Chloe tagged along. I laughed at myself, bitter. Yeah, right. I wasn't that naive. But I needed proof. Hard proof. Something they couldn't lie their way out of. I started digging quietly. I didn't confront Ethan when he got home that night, smelling like whiskey and excuses. Late meeting, he mumbled, collapsing onto the couch. I nodded, smiled like everything was fine. Inside, I was screaming. The next day, I called in sick and went full detective. I logged into our shared cloud drive, something Ethan never checked. There were photos, hundreds of them. Chloe's photography folder synced from her phone. I scrolled, heart in my throat. Paris, London. Them, arm in arm, laughing like they didn't have a care in the world. One photo stopped me cold, Ethan kissing her forehead, her eyes closed, smiling. I saved every single one. Then I called Sarah, my friend from work. She's a graphic designer, blunt as they come. We met for coffee at a diner near my place, the kind with sticky tables and bad lighting. "Have you seen Ethan lately?" I asked, stirring my coffee until it was cold. She hesitated, then sighed. "Yeah. Last month, at that bar downtown. He was with Chloe. They looked cozy." I didn't want to say anything until I was sure. Her words hit like a punch. I nodded, throat tight, and changed the subject. But it was real now. No more excuses. Back home, I kept going. I hacked into Chloe's public Venmo. Stupid of her to leave it open. Payments to Ethan, dinner, drinks, fun night. My blood boiled. I screenshotted everything, my hands shaking so bad I could barely tap the screen. I checked hotel receipts from the bank records, matched them to Chloe's posts. Dates, locations, amounts. It was airtight. They weren't just cheating. They were using my money to do it. I didn't cry. Not yet. I was too angry, too stunned. How could she, my sister, the one I'd given everything for? And Ethan, 7 years of marriage, and he picks her? I kept imagining them laughing, clinking glasses, while I was here, drowning in bills and guilt. I wanted to call Mom, to tell her what her precious Chloe did. But I knew she'd take Chloe's side. She always did. I sat on my couch, laptop glowing, evidence stacked like a house of cards. My phone buzzed. Ethan, texting he'd be late again. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened a new email, started drafting something to Chloe. "Explain this," I typed, attaching one photo. Then I deleted it. Not yet. I wasn't ready to tip my hand. I needed to be smart, not emotional. They thought I was the pushover, the good sister who'd roll over and take it. They were wrong. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Ethan didn't come home. I didn't care. My mind kept replaying those photos, Chloe's smug captions, Ethan's betrayal. I felt like an idiot, but more than that, I felt awake. For the first time in years, I wasn't just going along with what everyone else wanted. I was done being the sacrificial lamb. They'd crossed a line, and I wasn't going to let it slide. I saved every piece of evidence to a folder labeled Truth. It felt dramatic, but it was fitting. This was my life, crumbling, and I was going to rebuild it on my terms. I didn't know how yet, but I knew one thing: Chloe and Ethan were going to regret this. I didn't sleep for days. My laptop became my lifeline, that Truth folder growing with every screenshot, every receipt. I was obsessed, but not crazy. Not anymore. I had proof: hotel bills, Venmo payments, those damning photos of them in Paris, grinning like they'd won the lottery, my inheritance, my life. I could have screamed it all into a void, but I didn't. I wanted them to squirm. I wanted them to know I wasn't the doormat they thought. I planned it carefully. A family dinner, my place, Friday night. I texted Mom, Chloe, and Ethan, keeping it light. "Been too long. Let's catch up." Mom replied instantly. "All emojis and can't wait." Chloe sent a breezy "Sure, sis." Ethan just thumbs upped. Typical. I spent the day cleaning, cooking, setting the table like nothing was wrong. Inside, I was a mess. Heart racing, palms sweaty. But I kept it together. This wasn't about losing it. This was about taking control. They showed up around 6. Mom fussing over the tablecloth, complaining about the drive. Chloe in a flowy dress, all smiles, like she hadn't stolen my life. Ethan avoiding my eyes, mumbling about work. I poured wine, made small talk, played the good sister, the good wife. My stomach twisted every time Chloe laughed, every time Ethan brushed her arm by accident. I waited. Timing was everything. Halfway through dinner, overcooked lasagna because who cares? I set my fork down. "So, Chloe," I said, voice steady, "how was Paris?" The table went quiet. Her smile froze just for a second. "Oh, amazing," she said, too fast. "Got some great shots for my portfolio." Ethan coughed, reached for his glass. Mom beamed. "She's so talented, isn't she?" "Yeah," I said, leaning back. "Must have been expensive, though. Flights, hotels, fancy dinners." I let it hang, watching her squirm. Ethan's jaw tightened. Mom frowned, confused. "What's that supposed to mean?" she asked. I didn't answer. Instead, I pulled the folder from under my chair, a plain manila one, stuffed with printouts. I slid it across the table, slow, deliberate. "What's this?" Chloe laughed, nervous, flipping it open. Her face drained when she saw the first page. A bank statement, my inheritance money circled in red, hotel receipts, plane tickets. Her Instagram posts, printed in full color, Ethan's stupid grin staring back at her. "Maya, what?" she started, but I cut her off. "Explain it," I said, my voice low but sharp. "Explain how my money paid for your little love trip with my husband." The room went dead silent. Mom's fork clattered to her plate. Ethan choked out, "It's not what it looks like." Classic. Chloe's eyes darted to him, then me, then the folder. "You're blowing this out of proportion," she stammered. It was a work thing." "Work?" I laughed, bitter. "What kind of work has you kissing in Paris, Chloe? What kind of work needs my $100,000? I flipped the folder open, pointing to a photo. Ethan's lips on her forehead, her smug smile. Mom gasped, hand to her mouth. "Maya, stop this," she snapped. "You're embarrassing yourself." "Embarrassing?" I turned to her, my voice shaking now. "Mom, they stole from me. They're sleeping together. And you're defending her?" I shoved the bank records at her. "Look at it. My money, their trip. You told me to give it up for her. And this is what she does?" Mom's face crumpled, but she didn't touch the papers. "You're being dramatic," she said, quieter now. "Chloe wouldn't—" "She did," I cut in. "And Ethan? 7 years. 7 years, and you pick her?" I turned to him, my voice cracking. He wouldn't meet my eyes. "Maya, I swear, it wasn't planned," he mumbled. "It just happened." I wanted to throw my wine in his face. Instead, I laughed again, cold. "It just happened? You tripped and fell into a Paris hotel bed?" Chloe stood, tears in her eyes, playing the victim. "You're twisting everything. I needed that trip for my career." I slammed my hand on the table. "Your career? You used my sacrifice to cheat with my husband." The words felt like knives, cutting through years of silence, years of swallowing my anger. Mom stood too, grabbing Chloe's arm. "Enough, Maya. You're tearing this family apart." "Me?" I was shouting now, couldn't stop. "I gave up everything for her. For you. And this is what I get? Lies? Betrayal?" I looked at Ethan, at Chloe, at Mom, all of them staring like I was the villain. "You think I'm just gonna take this? You think I'll stay quiet?" Chloe sobbed, performative. Ethan reached for her, then stopped when he saw my glare. Mom just shook her head. "You've always been so selfish," she whispered. "That broke me." "Selfish? After everything I'd done?" I grabbed the folder, shoved it at them. "Take it, read it, deny it all you want. I'm done." They left, Chloe crying, Ethan muttering apologies, Mom throwing me one last disappointed look. The door slammed, and the apartment was silent. I sank to the floor, the folder spilling papers around me. My chest hurt like something had cracked open. I'd held it together for the fight, but now I was alone. Really alone. But as I sat there, surrounded by evidence of their betrayal, something shifted. I wasn't broken. I was angry, furious. They thought they could walk all over me, take my money, my marriage, my family, and I'd just roll over? No. I wiped my tears, picked up the papers, and opened my laptop. I wasn't done, not by a long shot. They'd started this war, but I was going to finish it. The silence after that dinner was deafening. My apartment felt too big, too empty, like it was mocking me. I didn't cry anymore. I was past that. The folder of evidence sat on my coffee table, a constant reminder of their betrayal. I could have burned it, screamed, thrown it all away. But I didn't. I wasn't going to let them win. Not this time. I was done being the good sister, the forgiving wife. They'd taken enough, my money, my trust, my family. Now I was taking it back. I started with a lawyer. A friend from work, Sarah, recommended Eliza, a divorce attorney with a reputation for being ruthless. I met her at a coffee shop downtown, clutching my folder like a lifeline. She was all business, sharp suit, sharper eyes. I spilled everything, the inheritance, the Paris trip, the affair. My voice shook, but I laid it out, every ugly detail. She flipped through my printouts, nodding, not a flicker of surprise. "You've got a case," she said, tapping a hotel receipt. "Not just for divorce, for the money too. Fraud, breach of trust, we can hit them hard." I exhaled, like I'd been holding my breath for weeks. "What do I do?" I asked. She smirked. "We make them regret it. We planned it like a chess game. First, the divorce. Eliza drafted papers citing infidelity and financial misconduct. Ethan's not walking away with a dime, she said, her pen moving like a weapon. Next, Chloe. Eliza suggested a civil suit to recover my inheritance, misrepresentation, unjust enrichment, the works. "Your sister's not as clever as she thinks," Eliza said, glancing at the Venmo screenshots. "This is sloppy. We've got her." I nodded, my anger simmering but focused. I wasn't yelling anymore. I was building a trap. I sent them an email, polite, cold, calculated. Subject, "We need to talk." I attached a single photo, Ethan kissing Chloe's forehead, Paris glowing behind them. The body was simple, "I know everything. Bank records, receipts, photos. You used my inheritance for your affair. I want my money back. My lawyer will be in touch." I CC'd Eliza, hit send, and waited. My phone blew up within minutes. Ethan's texts, "Maya, please, let's talk." Chloe's voicemails, tearful, rambling. "You're ruining my life." I didn't respond. I blocked Ethan's number, deleted Chloe's messages. They didn't get to beg. Eliza moved fast. She filed the divorce papers the next day, serving Ethan at his office. I wish I'd seen his face when the process server walked in. Eliza also sent Chloe a demand letter, return the money or face a lawsuit. I didn't want revenge for revenge's sake. I wanted justice, my money, my dignity, my life. They'd taken it all thinking I'd stay quiet. They were wrong. Word spread like wildfire. Sarah told a few coworkers, who told their friends. Soon, Chloe's photography page was bleeding followers. Comments popped up under her posts. Thief, homewrecker. I didn't start it, but I didn't stop it either. Ethan's company caught wind. Apparently, ethics violations don't sit well in marketing. He was let go, quietly, with a severance package that wouldn't last long. I heard he was crashing with a buddy, his career in shambles. Good. Mom called, of course. "You're destroying your sister," she said, voice shaking. I laughed. "Cold. She destroyed herself, Mom. And you let her." I hung up, my hands trembling but my resolve ironclad. For years I'd let her guilt me into silence. Not anymore. I wasn't the villain here, no matter how much she tried to spin it. Eliza and I met again a week later. She slid a settlement offer across the table. Chloe's lawyer, some overworked public defender type, was scrambling. They offered to repay half the money, no lawsuit. I shook my head. "All of it," I said. Eliza grinned. "That's my girl." We pushed back, demanding the full amount plus legal fees. Chloe didn't have it. She'd blown most of it on the trip in new camera gear. But Eliza was relentless. "We'll garnish her wages if we have to," she said. "She's not walking away." The divorce hearing was quick. Ethan didn't fight it. He showed up, head down, no lawyer. The judge looked at my evidence, bank records, photos, texts, and ruled in my favor. No alimony, no shared assets. The apartment was mine, paid for with my own salary. Ethan left with nothing but his clothes and a second-hand couch. I didn't feel joy exactly, just relief. Like I'd finally exhaled. Chloe's lawsuit was still pending, but the pressure was working. Her gigs dried up. Nobody wants a photographer with a reputation for stealing. She sent me one last text, a pathetic attempt at an apology. I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't reply. She didn't get to play the victim anymore. I forwarded it to Eliza, who added it to the file. Every word helps, she said. By the end of the month, I felt different, lighter, not happy, not yet, but free. I'd spent years bending over backward for them, Mom, Chloe, Ethan. I'd given up my dreams, my money, my voice, no more. I started looking at new apartments, maybe somewhere with a view. I updated my resume, pitching freelance data work. The world felt bigger, like I could finally step into it. I sat on my couch one night, the folder still on the table, now just a relic. I didn't need it anymore. The evidence was filed, the lawsuits in motion. I'd won, not because they were suffering, but because I wasn't. I poured a glass of wine, better than the cheap stuff I used to drink. To me, I whispered, raising it to the empty room. For the first time in years, I meant it. It's been a year since that dinner, since I flipped the table on their lies. My apartment's different now, not the cramped, creaky one I used to call home. I moved to a small condo in Portland, nothing fancy, but it's got big windows and a view of trees that turn gold in the fall. I wake up to sunlight now, not dread. The folder of evidence is gone, tucked away in a drawer somewhere. I don't need it anymore. I'm not that person anymore. The lawsuits wrapped up faster than I expected. My lawyer worked magic. Chloe settled out of court, couldn't afford the fight. She's paying back my inheritance in chunks, garnished from whatever gigs she can scrape together. Her photography career's a ghost town now. Word travels fast when you're labeled a thief. Ethan's worse off. Last I heard, he's couch surfing at some friend's place, picking up odd jobs. His marketing career? Dead. Nobody trusts a guy who tanks his ethics for a fling. I don't check on them anymore. It's not worth my energy. Mom tried to reach out a few times. Her voicemails were the same, half apologies, half guilt trips. You're tearing us apart, she'd say, like I was the one who broke everything. I finally picked up one day, my voice calm but firm. Mom, I'm done fixing your messes. Chloe made her choices. You enabled them. I'm choosing me now. She cried, said I was cold. Maybe I am. But I hung up, and I haven't answered since. Boundaries feel good, like armor I didn't know I could wear. I started freelancing, trading spreadsheets for clients who actually value my work. It's not glamorous, but it's steady. Enough to pay the bills and save a little. I even donated a chunk of the reclaimed inheritance to a cancer charity, the kind Dad would have loved. It felt right, like giving him a nod from wherever he's watching. I don't know if he'd be proud of me, but I think he'd get it. I'm not the pushover I used to be. Life's quieter now, but not empty. I've got friends. Sarah's still my rock, always dragging me to trivia nights at dive bars. I'm dating again, cautiously. There's a guy, a quiet architect with kind eyes, who doesn't push or pry. We get coffee, talk about books, laugh at dumb memes. It's not love yet, but it's nice. For the first time, I'm not chasing someone else's approval. I'm just living. I think about the old me sometimes, the one who'd swallow her anger to keep the peace. She gave up everything, her money, her voice, her dreams, for people who didn't deserve it. I don't hate them, though. Hate's too heavy, and I've carried enough. Chloe and Ethan thought they could walk all over me, and Mom thought I'd always fall in line. They were wrong. I'm not their doormat. I'm not their bank. I'm just me. And that's enough. Sometimes, late at night, I scroll Reddit, our relationships, our Amithy asshole, reading stories like mine. People pouring out their heartbreak, their betrayals. I get it now, why they write. It's not just venting. It's claiming your story, owning your truth. I almost posted mine once. Typed it all out. My sister stole my inheritance to go to Paris with my husband. AETA for suing her? I didn't hit submit. Didn't need to. This story's mine, and I've already written the ending. I walk to the coffee shop near my condo most mornings, laptop under my arm, ready to tackle a new project. The barista knows my order. Black coffee, no sugar, simple. I sit by the window, watching people rush by, living their own messy lives. I used to think family was everything, that I had to hold it together no matter what. Now I know better. Family's what you build, not what you're born into. And I'm building something good. If you're reading this, maybe you've been where I was. Betrayed, used, left wondering if you're enough. I'm here to tell you, you are. It's not easy, cutting out the people who hurt you. It's not clean, but it's worth it. I lost a sister, a husband, a mother. But I found myself. And that's a trade I'd make again, in a heartbeat. So, here's my question, Reddit style. I'm moving forward, living my life, maybe even falling for someone new. Any advice for keeping the past where it belongs? For not letting the hurt creep back in? I'm all ears. Thanks for reading my mess. It's been one hell of a ride. If this hit close to home, hit subscribe, drop a comment, and let's talk. I'm here, and I listen.